Hello, it's Jane here from Love Your Lens, and today I'm going to look at the selection I've made from the images that were submitted for the January photography theme, which was something new. Now, I think this was perhaps quite a difficult theme for people to get their heads around. It certainly perhaps wasn't the most obvious of topics and quite difficult to interpret at times. But thank you very much for all of the images that you did submit. Lots of them were absolutely gorgeous images, but at times I felt that they were a bit tenuous for fitting the theme. So these are the ones that I have chosen. I think there's 10 here. And I hope you'll agree with me that they are, worthy of being talked about a little bit further and the people being given a deserved mention. So let's hope my mouse behaves itself today and we don't get too much jumping around. So this first image is from Emma Hayes. And those of you that are new to the group could well be sitting there thinking, well, that looks like it's been done by a professional photographer. Well, Emma is somebody that's been with the group for quite a long time and joined as a complete newbie, relatively inexperienced photographer. And within a few short years, she has grown in leaps and bounds, as you can see, and she is now a semi-pro photographer doing shoots for friends, family and further afield, and getting some really lovely results, as you can see. So she coined this as something new for her, doing a baby smash photo for a 1-year-old, and I think she absolutely smashed it as well. I think somebody commented that the use of colour in this image is fantastic, and I'm sure the parents will be absolutely thrilled to bits with this image and that great big smile. Not easy to do. There's a reason why they say never work with children and animals, and Emma, you've absolutely nailed that, so well done. And then this next shot by Vicky. Vicky has, she's part of her local camera group, and I think they had a theme for abstract, and Vicky tried something new for her, which was playing around with oil and water and bubbles and the reflection from some coloured pencils. And I think, she's come up with a very striking image there. Great colours and something that perhaps we'd all be inspired to go off and do something new. So thanks for that, Vicky. And then this shot by Jude Parkin, an absolute smasher. And again, I think for her, it was her pushing her boundaries and trying something new. And, this portrait of a primate is absolutely fantastic. I really love it, and so hard to believe that it was taken through glass on a standard visit to the zoo. Really, really well done. If you don't mind a few comments, Jude, and again, these are purely just my opinion. I haven't got any criticisms of the image as such. I think you've done an absolutely smashing job. So these are just post-production editing images. It would be interesting to see what you think of the image in black and white. Personally, I think it's stronger. And then the other thing that I would potentially do is a little bit of sharpening on this. I wouldn't dream of doing it in this program that I'm using here, which is just a basic kind of photo library with a little bit of editing features. But if I just do a sharpen on here now, just watch the face, and you'll see that we've just got more detail there. Now, if you want to do that really precisely, you'd use something like Photoshop, Lightroom, Photoshop Elements, or something where you can apply the sharpening quite precisely. But that's all I would do with that, Jude. I think it's brilliant, really lovely shot, well done. And then we've got there were quite a lot of images submitted for something new that were to do with new days, sunrise and things like that. So I've just picked a couple out. This one is by Sue Whittle, and what I really liked about this is that dramatic sky, but also a sense of place as well. Probably a phone image, I would guess, and phone images have got very wide lenses, and that's why you've got this distortion going on here with everything leaning into the center. I don't necessarily mind that sometimes. It can add a sort of a dynamism to the image, make it feel a little bit more abstract. The only way to avoid that if you didn't want it is to get a little bit further back, shoot with a less wide angle lens, but obviously with a phone you've not got much choice, and you can't always stand backwards from where you are either. So beautiful colours in that, feels nice and warm. Love the silhouettes of the trees, the lamppost, and the light on the window over here. The only thing I perhaps would do on this one, Sue, is a crop, just to get rid of these. Had they been in a little bit more, these trees to the right there, I think we could have left them in, but because there's only a little bit of them peeking through there, I think it looks stronger without them. So if you just have a look at that crop there, again, my opinion, I think it looks a little bit stronger without those trees, just because your eye went off to them before. Your eye was a bit distracted, moved away from the sky and the central trees and off to those branches on the right-hand side. Okay, great spot. Anyway, lovely sunset, and how lucky were you to be there as well. Then we've got a couple of pictures by Chris Key, who goes under the name of Worth the Wander, which I really like as a little name tag as well. I think this was a great image. Quality, perhaps not that great phone image, but I don't actually care about that. It's the story and the feel that you've captured of all these people standing on a beach at the seaside, watching a firework display, New Year, and the sense of depth and scale, because you've got somebody so strong in the foreground here, and it's well, potentially a lifeguard. That's probably one of those hoodies that everyone can buy, isn't it? But the scale of that, and then the all the people going off into the distance, the sense of space and emptiness, just the whole scale of the picture and how well it fits the theme. So great one there, Chris. I have to say though, out of the two you submitted, this is my favourite as a fit for the brief, something new. Again, very much new dawn, new sunrise kind of feel with a beautiful sky. But the reason I really like this is you really do get a sense of it being a new day, with how the sand is completely smooth and untouched. Nobody's walked on that yet. It really is very early. Tide's just going out, and everything feels new and fresh and ready to start a new day. So I love that. There's also the technique that you've used here, of course, is of framing as well. So the structure here frames the groin and sunrise in the background. So really nice, Chris. Thank you. Then we've got this shot, another one from Emma Hayes, a rose, fairly rare winter rose, beautifully captured, very delicate, nice and sharp. I like the juxtaposition of the soft petals of the rose, soft light petals against the dark textured texture of the wood. It's a quite I like the simplicity of it, is what I was trying to say there. And there's not too many colours vying for your attention. You've got the dark wood, you've got the white wall, and you've got the green and the pink of the rose. And the depth of field that you've used there, Emma, which is very shallow, has really knocked back the leaves and all of this so that it doesn't distract, but it plays its part in the picture. And you've got your rose more or less on an intersection of the thirds, which is pretty much in keeping with this month's challenge as well. So yeah, lovely shot there, Emma. Nicely captured. And then on a similar theme, we've got this shot from Anne Cook here. So we've got new buds on a bush of some sort. And I love the colour in this one, the warm colour, and we'll assume it's sunrise so that it then really nicely fits with something new, a new day, a new bud. The only thing I would say about this, Anne, and I think it's down to photo resolution. You've got plenty of pixels here. You've got 762 by 960 pixels, which is great for displaying on social media and Facebook, but you've only got 40 KB. So what that suggests to me is that your pixels per inch, the resolution of the image, is too low. and to display on some of the high resolution phones and screens we've got these days, look at using more like 150 to 200 pixels per inch. Now that might not make a lot of sense to some of you. Those of you who use Lightroom, Photoshop, etc. to resize images will probably know what I mean. So I'll make a note of that, and perhaps it can be a little post on how to make sure that your images will display to their best on social media for you, so that they don't look, this almost looks pixelated, which is a shame. So nice capture though, Anne, and thank you very much for that. Then we come on to this one by Sheena Hatton, which I really liked. It fits the theme so well. New potatoes, nice depth of field with these ones in the foreground, and then them going off into shallow depth of field in the background. Some lovely textures and colours, and a good one for the theme. Now there's a lot of noise in this, Sheena, and I'm not sure whether that's because you did use a high ISO. So if you are able to go back to the image and look at the data, that would be very interesting. You see how grainy it is, and it doesn't, the same here as well, that graininess or something, and I don't think it's image resolution in this case, but something's affecting how sharp this looks. So you've got 1460 pixels by 1936, absolutely plenty. Your image size isn't bad. I would expect that to be between 500 KB and 1 megabyte, and it still looks a bit grainy and as if it's not quite sharp. So I'm not sure what's going on there, Sheena. So have a quick look if you know what you're looking for, and see if that's something you could adapt for the future. Or if you want to ask a few more questions on it, feel free. And then on to my favourite image for the theme for the month. I'll talk you through it. It's by Ray Fung. It's fabulous. Where shall I start? Absolutely fits the theme. We know what we're looking at. It's completely abstract, but we know we're looking at a shop window that's been whitewashed over. Or a window, and it nearly always is shops and cafes and things, isn't it? So behind that window, something new is going to emerge, at some point in the future. And I just love the abstract nature of it, the swirls, the wipes, and everything going on, all this movement in the image, and then all these other lines and things going on. And then right in the middle of all of that, you've got this star. And that was a great thing to notice and capture so well in the way that you've filled the frame with it, Ray. The colour is great. It's all quite sort of black and white or monotone, and I just think you've done a smashing job of that, Ray, and really strong. So thank you very much. Well done. And I hope you're all getting on okay with rule of thirds. Looks like you are, and I look forward to being able to pick some and talk about them after the end of February. Whoops. So no, we'll leave Ray's great image on the screen for now, and that's what we'll close on. So thanks very much, everyone. Speak soon. Bye.